tells you that is what you're supposed to do. Because it is an advisory role, you can advise, but the vision or the decision of the cabinet is final.
You are part of the decision process.
You are part, but the back does not stop with you. So if you are a deputy CEO, you cannot say that if your CEO says we are taking direction right, you, the deputy CEO, will say, no, we should go forward or we should take left. It never happens in every institution.
If you can't work in a team, then why do you remain in that team?
No, that is not the point. Because
if you are not happy with decision making,
I can tell you that I know you are a senior social worker, and I can tell you that not every decision that has been taken by the Health and Social Care Ministry in this country that you are happy with. But the fact that it's been directed to you and the collective team has accepted it, you don't have to be a jack and just get out of the boat and say, these people took this decision, I'm not. That is not how collective we work. You know, governance is collective effort. And so we have had our positives and we have had not so positives. You see, when we took over in 2016, we were down there at the bottom. Everybody has written us off. IMF concluded that our economy was in a really bad state. What we need to understand is that during President Mohammed's time, the world did not have any recession. There was no Russia-Ukraine war that disrupted supply chain across the world. There was no pandemic that held the world to a standstill for nearly 2 years. But with all the resources that he had at his disposal, he managed to run the economy down, and he himself confessed that the economy is now like a dry bone. There's no flesh. This is the same economy that President Bawumia and Dr. Muhammad Bawumia took from the ground, built it, and in 2019-2020, Ghana was the fastest rising economy in the world.
Yes, but they took over with an exchange rate of $1, 3.8.
So,
and today we will come to that anyway. Go on.
So I am saying that with John Mahama, 2013 to 2016, the economic growth on the average for that 4 years was just 3.4. Okay, with no Russian-Ukraine war, with no COVID, with no world recession, the average growth was 3.4. When we took over from 2017 to 2020, the average growth of Ghana in terms of economics was 6.1. So who in his right mind will say that this option of John Mahama running the economy down? You see, the interesting fact is that when he took over from Atta Mills in 2013, the economy actually grew by 7%. When he was the vice president to the late John Atta Mills. So then it clearly tells you that he cannot manage the economy. But with vice president and his boss, Akufo-Addo, consistently we were rising. Now, from 2020 to 2023, where we had the COVID, we have the world recession, we have Russian-Ukraine war disrupting the supply chain. Still, the economy has grown by 4.1, which is better than all the 4 years of John Mahama.
Okay. That is the analysis from there.
That is not analysis. We are real facts.
But what I want to say is, let's take it one by one.
Yes.
Now, if we look at it, that my question is, at the time the MPP administration took over, the exchange rate at the time was $1 to 3.80 Ghana cedis. Today, Sunday, 11/02/2024, $1 is 12.40 Ghana cedis.
Yes, and that is why I explained to you. That's why I explained to you that there was a world recession. There was disruption in the supply chain, and you believe that Ghana is a country where we rely 80% of commodities from outside the world, outside Ghana. Yes. So if you are depending, you are relying, your economy relies 80% of products outside your jurisdiction. And these products have been affected by supply chain.
Ukraine
it's
is
not
saying now saying we
true.
should not be
No,
using
Ukraine
them.
is not-
Say Ukraine war, Ukraine war. The country is said they are doing well.
Ukraine hasn't said anything, and what they say does not really matter in this context because there's been a supply chain disruption, has it not? Are you telling me that in 3 years ago, what you use 50 pounds in this country to buy, are you going to be using the same 50 pounds in this country to buy? It is never so. Okay. Because I used to pay my electricity, I live here. I used to pay my electricity, my gas on the average 250 pounds. Now I'm paying 470 pounds in this country. Tell me if it's a lie. So it tells you that there's always a causal effect between when countries, because right now it's a global economy. What affects you inadvertently will affect me.
So what is the government doing to change the situation? We can't.
That is a very good question.
We can't keep on saying Ukraine themselves. They said they are tired of hearing their name.
Because what happened was that, in 2022, that was the difficult and the challenges that we had as a government, because there's been supply chain disruption, as I told you, and then Ghana, our money is really backed by these forex exchange.
Yes.
Now we need forex to go and buy supply oil that the country needed. People even projected that Ghana was going to end up like Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka story is that people were not getting fuel to buy. The electricities were not being run. Their money devalued to the point that they had to use US dollars as their money. And you see, even Ghanaians, even our opponents, projected that by 2022 December, we will be buying a liter of fuel for 23 cedis, and that $1 to a cedi will be around 25 cedis. People projected this, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now, this is what Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia did. And sometimes, irrespective of the challenges that we went through, I think it is God who ordained Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for Ghanaians.
How?
Because at that time, had it not been him, I have no idea where this country would have been. Because he sat down and realized that, okay, we are struggling to get forex to buy fuel. Now, these forex that we use to buy fuel, the people that we are buying fuel from, they are using these same forex to buy gold. Ghana is the leading producer of gold in the world currently. Now,
but our earnings from it is very little.
Now, let me finish. Now, what are we going to do to make sure that the inflation and the devalue of our money as compared to the dollar will be sorted? He sat down with his team, racked the brain, and came out with the domestic gold buying policy. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Because now what Ghana is doing is that we do not put enough pressure on the forex, on the dollars that we use to buy fuel. We are rather making sure that the small scale miners, the miners in this country, we will go and buy their gold and give them the local currency so that we lessen the pressure of the dollars. Ghana government with Bank of Ghana made sure that this policy was written out and spelled out for everybody to understand. Now, Bank of Ghana have been buying gold from the small scale miners. You see, now the second point was that, I'll come to that. The second point is the gold for oil. Rather putting enough pressure, because every year Ghana needed every month, $400 million in forex to go and buy oil. Now we have abundance of gold. The people supplying us the fuel have agreed that they will take the gold. We have enough gold. Why don't we pay our miners in Ghana cedis? Because after all, they are going to use the money to spend in Ghana. So in Ghana, we don't spend pounds. We don't spend cedis. We don't spend dollars. We are spending cedis. So Bank of Ghana is going to pay you in dollar equivalent how much you're going to sell your gold. Bank of Ghana will buy it. Bank of Ghana will take the gold and go get fuel, reducing the pressure on our forex. Now let me tell you, every country in this world, their currency is backed by something. and something, not anything, but something substantial. Now, what is happening around the world is that every country's currency is being backed by precious mineral, and that is gold. Let me tell you, US.
And we are backed by what? Because we're not getting much from our natural resources.
US, their dollar is backed by gold.
Yes.
And if you go to their US Treasury, do you know US is not noted for gold mining? But I can tell you that in their reserve, they have 8,133 tons of gold to back and support their currency. If you go to Italy, as I speak to you now, they do not mine gold in Italy, but they know to make their currency strong, they need gold.
Yes.
When you go to Bank of Italy, as I speak to you now, they have 2,451
Let's
tons.
skip to Ghana.
I'm coming. I'm coming. If you go to IMF, IMF is not even a country. They are supporting the countries around the world. IMF, in their wisdom, when we go into trials, when we go into challenges, we go to IMF, knock on their doors, and ask for money. They know to have enough resources, they need to back their storage with gold. IMF has 2,418 tons of gold.
Go straight to the point. Yeah,
no. I want to build it so that you know.
Because our viewers want to certain areas to discuss.
Let me reiterate that. I am telling you what the vice president has done. It's amazing if you are following. From independence till date, from independence till 2022, when we had this issue, the pressure on the forest devaluing our currency, do you know, as a leading producer of gold in the whole world, Ghana, from 1957 up to 2022, we had only 8 tons in our bank reserve. How does it describe us as a nation? The leading gold producer, you have only 8 tons. Italy, who does not produce gold, they have 2,451. And so Vice President said, no, we can't continue like this. We need to sit down and come up with ideas so that we can back our reserve, so that our currency will be stabilized. And that is why they combined with Bank of Ghana and came up with the domestic gold purchasing program. Now, less than 2 years of that process, let me tell you, we have 26 tons of gold. And that is why you see 2023, the currency has been stable irrespective of the external purchase that is happening. That is why you see that all
your currency has been stable.
Yes, because people projected
with the interest rate, current interest rate.
No, don't situate interest rate with CD stabilization. These are two different things. I am telling you that with the ingenuity of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, thinking outside the box, less than 2 years from 1957 up to 2022, Ghana, we had only 8 tons of gold. Less than 2 years, we have 26 tons. It's not something that we should take it lightly. It's an immense improvement. Now, the good news that maybe you are not aware, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in his vision, has told us, do you know that Ghana, we have 7 belts where it's been discovered by the help of the Ghana Geological Department, that we have 7 belts across the country, over 43,000 square kilometers of gold.
Yes. And
this is something that is happening. He set out the team and they are investigating our soil, and we realize that we have 43,000 square kilometers of gold in Ghana. However, because of this illegal mining and stuff like that, half of them has been poached. But even with the 21,000 that has not been touched, it is estimated that if we dig this gold up, Ghana is going to have 5 billion ounces of gold. And Kula,
the problem with Ghana, and all this you're talking about, we may not even get anything from it.
Let me explain. That is a pessimistic way of looking at it. Dr. Bawumia, you know, because
the government has struggled with Ghana.
About Dr. Bawumia is that for these gold, untouched rich resources that we have learned our lessons as a nation. He is not going to get only foreigners to come and explore the soil or our land. He is using lecturers, professors in Ghana and the geological department to explore this. And,
one of our viewers is saying they want him to talk about Galamsey because the issue.
I'll come to Galamsey. If you listen to the 170 or the 70 policies that he gave us, he well captured Galamsey. I'll come to that. But this is very interesting. Now, we know we have 5 billion ounces of gold in our soil untouched. Dr. Bawumia is saying that the time where we used to go and get white people to come and tell us you have this, you have this, you have this, and then negotiate, and you end up having 10% of your own resources is over. He's using Ghanaian professors, he's using Ghanaian experts in the geological department to explore this. Now, 5 billion ounces of gold, when you translate it into real money, it means that Ghana, we are sitting on $10 trillion. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is a visionary leader. Do you know why I say that? Because just about 8 years ago, his main opponent, John Mahama, did exploration and realized that we have enough bauxite in our land. What did John Mahama do? John Mahama decided to will 50% of our bauxite to his brother. Now, juxtapose this to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We have found that we have 5 billion ounces of gold. He is saying that I can only be president for 8 years. When I leave and I die and I go, Ghana will still be there. This team, I'm tasking you to explore about 5% of the 10 trillion. Now, Kula, 5% of that. I did the calculation here, and let me read out to you.
Ibrahim is even now the MPP are doing business with him, so it didn't go to him as a brother, as a business.
No. Come on. So you are telling me that as president, right? If this is so right for you to do, on your last day, a couple of days for you to leave office, that is why you rashly award 50% of the nation's minerals to your brother. So if he was so right, why did the Supreme Court slash it out? But that's a different case. Now, I did the calculations. So out of the 10 trillion that Ghana is to expect of gold, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia saying that because I know I'm not going to live forever, I'm not going to lead, and all this generation, we are not going to be there in 100 years' time. But Ghana will be there. Our children will be there. They need to also enjoy the goodness and the richness of our soil. So we are going to explore 5%. Just 5% of that belt that I've told you. Now, if people do not know, per education, the belt that we've discovered this 5 billion ounces of gold stretch from Azim to Winneba to Nangodi and then to Lora. So there's that stretch that we have this 43,000 square kilometers, and we are having 5 billion ounces of gold sitting there. Just 5% of that is going to give us $500 billion.
So
500
any
billion.
administration will be able to take care.
So I am saying that, no, don't say that. It's not any administration who is going to take care of that. Because when Mahama was exposed to bauxite, we knew or we know what he did. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has set up his team, and we know what he's going to do about this. Can you imagine that in his term, in 4 years, we can get 5% of this gold, and which will translate into 500 billion.
Okay,
the country is struggling because we are struggling to raise $3 billion.
Okay,
this is money sitting.
Thank you for that.
The vice president is a visionary leader.
Okay, the vice president reported in his speech that they started with a clear, decisive, and deliberate program to, among other things, because we want to stabilize the economy, fix doomsaw, fix the NHIs, fix roads, clear the arrests, make education free and accessible. He said all these things in his speech. Now, if we take it one by one, a clear, decisive, and deliberate program, doomsaw, fixing the doomsaw. The Mahama NDC has always maintained that they are the ones who fix the
Oh, come on. In which world? In which world? I will give you a site where the former chairman Ofusu Ampofu telling Ghanaians that MPP should keep quiet and fix doing so. This was in March 2017.
Has our vice president said that the NDC fixed doing so?
I don't recall the vice president saying that because the NDC did not fix doing so. You see, the vice president was emphatic and clear about the problems that John Mahama and his government was facing. It was clear that the Dumso was not capacity issue. It was lack of money because of mismanagement. Because you see, the analogy is that you want to travel from Woodford to Swindon. You do not have a car. You came to me, I have a car, to say, oh, Richard, I want to go to Swindon tomorrow, but I do not have a car. Can you give me your car? I give you my car. But the car will not move itself from Woodford to Swindon unless you put fuel in it. But you do not have the money to buy the fuel. So the car will sit there. And that is the
debate
problem.
Will always go on.
No, it's not.
About who fixed them. I think Ghanaians need to know through the court process.
No, you don't have to go through process. The facts are there. That MPP came and we fixed Dumso. Because we told Ghanaians the truth that Dumso was not a capacity problem.
Okay. Fixing the NHIs
was money issue. And now we've had enough money. And even through the turbulence of COVID and the Russian-Ukraine war, Ghanaians were still buying fuel. Nigeria, one of the largest states in producing oil, were queued buying, you were seeing in queues, fighting, buying for fuel. This thing never happened in Ghana.
Is Dumso back? Or
is not back.
Emma back. Emma fossilized.
And you know credit. On say, if you are using a machine to work, obviously sometimes you need to service it. And it is right that when you are a machine run for some time, services, and this is what is happening. I mean, I live in Spintex and it's been amazing. Occasionally it goes off. The only a year I bet me a catch ECG phone says sometimes if they know that they are going to carry out such maintenance, they should be letting people know. Say yebabe only say krumha. If your lights back off just for 5 minutes, you are told. You are given notice ahead of time, so you prepare yourself. And no na ABA lucky. What
about fixing the NHIs? I just picked them one by one because our viewers and Ghanaians want to know these things.
What you are reading, what you are reading, and how you are posing is in the wrong context. NHIS 2016. NHIS 2023, there's been a lot of improvement. There's been a massive improvement. Do you know the depth that NDC left us? When NDC was leaving, NHIS was on its knees. Now we've revamped NHIS and we are adding more expensive medication to NHIS.
When people are told to go home and die, how did this become a revamp?
And where did people tell people to go home and die? Me see, NHIS first.
That's what it is.
I mean, this thing we discussed the other day.
Yes.
Because NHIS, even the stress for you to be registered as NHIS back in the day, it was just unthinkable. But Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, with his foresight, about digitalizing the processes of NHIS. Now you don't have to go to the NHIS office to register to be insured. You sit in your home, you dial a code, you pay, and you don't
need taking file when for black check. Other things are almost show.
That is never true, because the additional offer for NHIS, I'm going to tell you, where you work Ghana, you will say sickle cell for will be a sickle cell sufferer. Because only normal people because they are exposed to good quality medication. There's one particular medication, your friend of hydroxyurea. And when sickle cell sufferers, when they go into crisis, these are the medications that becomes a matter of death and life. If they get it, they bounce back and they're on their way. But if they don't, they die. In Ghana, so when you're sickle cell sufferer, Obia will kill on you in a certain kind of way, because there's a stigma attached to it that if you're a sickle cell sufferer, you are not going to live long. And one of the fundamental reasons why people were thinking this way was because we lacked the medication for the people. Because initially, the NHIS was not covering hydroxyurea because it is an expensive drug. But when Dr. Mahamadou Baumia heard about the havoc the lack of this medication is causing the community of the sickle cell, offered the stakeholder team, and you know, say, no, Yawu Obi Ewo Ghana, no, a sickle cell sufferer. It is not his fault, or it is not her fault. The fact that he was born on this soil by Ghanaian parents, he has every right, such as person who does not have sickle cell. Until a coin be as well, befa boa no, ye beboa. Senka NHIS no, a good to say the NDC for can. And by this now, omubetimi adopte afa hydroxyurea ho kanyina. And ne Ghana, ne kohwe ye nuanom omo sickle cell. Say hydroxyurea no, ye de ma wa ye juice Ghana. Secondly, cancer kum Ghana for research abanyina che say breast cancer and kum sabi a man more than a member. Dr. Mahamadou Baumia also invited the stakeholders in NHIS and your matnasi, your calculations, your checking your balances to review whether it will be able for the NHIS to again, apart from the hydroxyurea, no, make sure that we take some of the expensive medications that involve with treating breast cancers, no, to NHIS. As I speak to you now, it has been taken. And if you tell me, say, the NHIS is on its knees, can a company or can an entity that is on its knees consume all this? It is never true.
Because my interest is disability, and I work with a number of persons with disability. Homoko Hospital, they've been sent away to go home and die because they don't have the money, to pay for that services. And it's been going on. It has been going on. And I think maybe it's something for him to see the reality, stand on the side and let people follow them and see what is happening. A lot of people have been told, Obi a kidney problem, I understand it doesn't cover under the NHIS, but if they are not working out, where does the government want them to find money to go and pay?
Okay, so you believe that the NHS here that we are enjoying in this country didn't start 10 years ago. It didn't start 15 years ago. It didn't start 20 years ago. It didn't start 30 years ago. The NHIS started way Thatcher's time, even before Thatcher's time. You are aware. It's a gradual process. But say,
if the people are dying.
If we are compared, so I don't want to. So we understand now. Conversation now is quite simplistic, because you know very well that it takes a lot to go into this insurance. What I say. So I don't see why. Say me my insured. Then I come to the hospital and you send me away. Your best say obi and found who say disabled and I say we able person. Your best say say if you are insured having the NHIS card, there are certain privileges that you should have when you go to the hospital. And if somebody turns you away, you need to report to the authorities. So we can't just come up and send a man for account without facts, and only about debate. What Dr. Mahamadou Baumia in his vision about people living with disability, when he said Ghana, there's a big stigma with people living with disabilities. So wakra no or disabled kakra, yes wakoye sikedro, yes wakoye say, and most often than not, the sound microphone in esi. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said, if you read in a statement, Bawumia said, we lack education on this. We lack education. And there's no incentive for people to go and learn about these stuff. There are incentives for people learning how to live with people with autism, learning how to live with people with Down syndrome, learning how to live with people with MS. Incentives no. So who read the mission statement that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia deliver on 7 February now. It gives you the guidelines on how or best spending money. Now we're training young people so that we will understand that obi or disability and just any panel your bosumba and also yinsuba. He equally enjoyed the rights to be a Ghanaian. It is education in
Does he know about the story of the toll booth workers? Transport ministry, highway ministry, Amakwata, the Honorable Amakwata, the department. They not being paid. They were promised to be paid. And I think if the vice president is saying he wants to help persons with disability, he should at least take time, or his team should take time and listen to what the former toll booth workers are saying and their cry. A lot of them, Christmas time, some of them didn't even know where their meal was coming from. They were promised money to be paid, but that money never came. And today, it's been over 1.5 years, and they are still waiting for this money, and there has no. So that could be something for you to take.
I am saying that the discussion over disability goes beyond toll booth workers.
Yes, I know.
It goes beyond that.
Yes, I understand.
We have disabled people being supported in universities. We have disabled people being supported in free senior high school. We have disabled people being supported through free TVET. We have disabled people who are occupying governmental positions. So when you reduce the conversation to toll booths, you are not doing justice to the conversation.
I am saying we want to have statistics of a number of people who are in uni.
Who say Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia are taking a whole page to discuss that when he becomes president, he is not going to neglect the PWDs. And I can tell you, our main opponent, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia Babontin, Edin Vision by and na Sambi Gyamfi in Crawford also de John Mahama 60 policies to social media. I dare you to point me out of the 60 policies, say Omaba could be crack or people living with disabilities. No, he didn't. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia are engaging a whole policy to make sure that the whole Ghana, we understand that the stigma attached to disabled people, it's not right. It is illegal, and it should be shielded. It should be struck off from our body politics. And so when we are comparing these two, disabled for better say, Papa, when you want
okay, Dr. Bawumia, Mahamudu Bawumia, our vice president, indicated that the economic mess that was left by the NDC, as we was talking about. Former President John Mahama has indicated that no economic mess was left by his administration, as suggested by the MPP. Rather, the MPP took over a stabilized economy. Mahama indicated that this was as a result of their good policies that led MPP and Dr. Bawumia to make it look that it was as a result of their policy. What do you have to say about this, please?
I think His Excellency, former President John Dramani Mahama, is living his own world, unfortunately, because you can't even tell a day-old child that he left a good economy for Ghana. Was it not the same person who stood on podium and told Ghanaians that the economy is so bad that there are no flesh on the bones? Is it not the same person? Was it not during his time that we had an association called Unemployed Graduates Association? Was it not his time? Was it not his time that teachers couldn't even get chalk to teach children in Ghana? Where the then second lady of the republic has to actually admonish in a bad way to headmaster that if you don't have a chalk, I do not care. It is not my duty as a second lady to provide you a chalk. Was it not under his regime? Was it not under his regime that we slept in darkness for 4 years? Now, if you plunge Ghana into a total mess, and now you have the effrontery to stand and tell us that you left Ghana in a good economy, then clearly my former description fits him very well, that he is in a state of his own and he needs to be checked seriously. Because per any indicator, sector by sector, from housing, from employment, from education, from transportation, from health, there's no one sector that John Dramani Mahama can beat the NPP in terms of comparative analysis. There's none. It's not even a non-starter. And I don't know where he quoted this. I hope it's a misquote, because I cannot, the fiber within me, accept and believe that Don Dramani Mahama, the former president, will have the guts to say that he left the economy in good shape.
Based on our vice president's speech, are the people struggling in Ghana? Do you think people are struggling to have 1 meal a day? A majority of the people.
I think that post-COVID, post-pandemic, post the disruption of supply chain, no country in the world is singing that all is well. No country in the world is telling their people that it's all rosy. In UK, which is a first-class country, a developed world-class country, I just read in the news 3 days ago that we have reached the highest number ever in the existence of the Great Britain, that people who are actually working are going to the food banks. Am I wrong? You are in social services. We have never.
Food bank will not give food to people who are working.
I am. People are working. People are working, but it's not enough. Their children are not having 3 square meals, and this is a first-class world. They are telling you that the problems that we are going through is a short term. It's not permanent.
Where do people who cannot have 3 meals go in Ghana?
So I am telling you that we also have had the effects of COVID. And that is why in my earlier submission, I made mention that we live in a global world. And what happens to you, directly or indirectly, has a ripple effect on me. And so we are all finding our ways post-COVID. Yes, the MPP accept and appreciate that we've been through challenges, but we are assuring Ghanaians that it is the same crop of people, the same government that took that took Ghana from the bottomless pit and rose it to the point where it was the fastest rising economy in the world. It was one of the countries that enjoyed a foreign direct investment. It is the same government. And so people should have belief in Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He spelled out a vision, and the vision of possibilities, that we are not going back to where we are. We are moving forward. Things that I do not agree with, I am going to slash it. Things that I believe is working well, I will make sure that it is well improved.
So therefore, our vice president don't have a plan for those who are having 1 meal a day in our country. Those who are struggling and they don't know where the next meal is coming from.
That is to your.
It's not in the speech. That's why I'm bringing it up.
That is to your conclusion. You see, the vice president will not give a mission statement that is going to address every individual's problem. If you do that, then you are not leading. But you come up with solution that will collectively improve the living standards of the people. And so his mission that he put forward shows that if we go by his mission, the living standards of the people are going to improve. And if our living standards improve as people, nobody is going to worry about 3 square meal or 1 square meal a day. So if you tell me he hasn't addressed that is also not true.
Many are saying that they are not in agreement that the economy is recovering from the crisis we face, as suggested by the vice president. Do you have anything to say on that?
I have a lot to say, because there are many in your context. But we don't live in a world when it comes to specifics. We believe many. when it comes to specifics like economy indicators, we rather trust experts. What are the experts saying? What is World Bank saying? What is the IMF saying? Even the projection that IMF told us that we will be growing our GDP by 1.5%, we've shocked the IMF that we've outgrown past the projections that they gave us. So everything shows, and it solely boils down to the decision that the Vice President took, which I expelled earlier, which I elaborated earlier, the domestic gold purchase program and the gold for oil program that the Vice President came up with. So it is never true that people do not believe it. I mean, I don't know where you are getting these facts from. But if you can go online, check the projections on Ghana from World Bank, check the projections from Ghana from IMF, and it will tell you that Ghana is on the right path for recovery. Because it spells out agriculture. It has been estimated that by 2025 we are going to grow agriculture sector by 8.6%. During John Mohammed's time, for the 4 years we grew negative in agriculture.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Bawumia reported in his speech that we will go and look at some of the comments on Facebook, but before we do that, Dr. Bawumia reported in his speech that what is probably the most remarkable development in terms of the economy is that they have created 2.1 million jobs between 2017 and 2022.
Yes.
Okay. The question is I'm asking you, Jesus.
I'm enjoying this.
Very powerful. The one and only Jesus. Yes.
I'm enjoying this. It's limited, but it's good.
Okay. The question is, I have to say it again. Jesus.
Is
Dr. Bawumia's 2.1 million jobs creation facts or propaganda?
Well, per the history of New Patriotic Party, we believe that our core mandate is to create equal opportunities for all. And to deceive Ghanaians is never an accolade in our party structures. And that is why, per the tradition of this party, Dankwad Buzia Dombo, we've never had a propaganda secretariat, and we will never have a propaganda secretariat, as compared to our main opponent, NDC, who until recently saw the light that it is actually unfair to Ghanaians to set up and even appoint somebody as a propaganda secretary. We do not do that. So your question, whether a farce or propaganda, does not hold here.
But many don't believe in the data he's holding.
When you say many, who
many
are the
commentators?
You see, NPP under Nana Akufo-Addo is the only government that has passed the right to information bill. So that mantra, many do not believe, should be struck out from our conversation when we are having intellectual discourse.
Okay.
Because you see, let me explain.
Okay, let you explain and I'll
Let me explain. There are sectors, government sectors in Ghana. They employ yearly. How do you know that we've employed this particular person formally? When you are employed in this country, when you are sending your details, irrespective of your name, your address, your bank details, there's one fundamental information that you need to provide. And what is that? Your national insurance number.
Yes. So the statistical services will be able to have it. Go on. Sorry.
Finish.
Okay, go on. Sorry, go on.
And so, the police department, how many have they recruited? The military department, how many have they recruited? The public service sector, how many have they recruited? Of all these people that we've employed directly, you need to be registered at SNIT so that you'll be contributing towards your own pension. Am I right? So the data that Dr. Bawumia is talking about, it is clear.
But he's the only one holding the data.
That is not true.
Statistical services don't have it.
That is never true.
I've contacted them.
That is not. When did you contact statistical service and they tell you that these people are not employed?
No,
it is never true.
No, what they are saying, they are not saying they are not employed.
You are confusing. You are confusing the 5 million that people said. The 5 million is the indirect jobs. When we talk about the 2.1, these are facts that are verifiable.
They say they don't have the data.
Who are they? Because I've just shown you.
The government statistical service is supposed to have that data that our vice president is holding.
Read it to me what the statistical service said.
What they're saying, as you are, this is what from, as you are aware, the Ghana Statistical Service should be a reference point for national statistics. And they have to report that, but from their report, they are saying that they don't have the data.
Where did they say it? You are not reading it to me. Well, I am telling you that this information that you are having is false. Because you see, I have pointed out to you. And we have passed the rightful information bill.
Yes,
so you can walk into any government department to check this. Seriously, you don't need the Ghana Statistic Board to show you this.
They're supposed to have it. They are the ones who are supposed to give it to everyone.
You are a journalist. You are a journalist. If you want to find out this information, I think that the right
that is what I did.
I think the right thing is to do is to write to Ghana Statistics. If that's the only people that you believe, you can write to them. But I'm telling you that we also have our sources. Dr. Muhammad Bawumia is a researcher and he believes in proper research and articles. He's not just going to go on Google and just pick up
1 million
direct jobs. Direct
in Ghana.
Direct jobs.
When many Ghanaians are saying they don't have jobs.
You see?
A lot of youth in particular.
And that is also another wrong statement to make, that a lot of youth. Because you see...
A number of youth.
A number of youth.
Yes.
Because there's never a country that will ever exist in this world where unemployment will be 0%. It is never done. There are situations where people go and read some courses and it becomes very difficult for them to be employed. But when with time they find their grounds, they get employed. So at any time you can never have 100% employability in every state. What we are saying is that when we took over from NDC, the unemployment rate was hovering around 8%. Now we are hovering around 4.7%. So it tells you that even in the midst of our challenges, we've done better. And we are hoping, per the mission statement read by His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Bawumia, there's a lot of opportunities for young people to grow, especially in the IT. He has promised that when he's given the mandate, he will make sure that 1 million young people are employed, are sponsored to undertake IT courses, which will give them the opportunity to work in IT firms across the world. Because right now, Kula, you don't need to live in Ghana and work in an IT department in US.
Thank you. Let's listen. Let's read some of the comments there. Producer, can you help us, please, with the comments? Oh, no, it's there, yeah. Okay, there, if we can, okay. Beatrice, oh, it's gone down. Sorry. Yeah, if you go up, please. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We can start from there. George Emil, how can you promise 24-hour economy when you couldn't manage electricity? Beatrice Asante, stop throwing shade on JM and concentrate on your candidate who has no unique idea.
He's our main objective.
I used to run, Beatrice Asante, I used to run a food bank, and your submission does not hold water. I know Beatrice Asante. She's definitely lying. Cannot. She's lying. I know Beatrice Asante very well. She's never ran a food bank. Don't disgrace yourself. Okay. Fifi Asante Mare, this guy is living in Cloud 7. Go and check the indication yourself. The NDC left 250 in Ghana, stabilized fund. So maybe Produce African, yeah, that's it. Thank you. More. 2.200 million in the sinking fund, 40 billion in ESLA to pay off Kufuor's Eurobond debt, which was about to mature, plus credit. Yeah, we can go down now. More. Is there any? Jones, please ask him if the NHIS is working. Why did Dr. Bawumia fly to the UK for treatment?
And that is.
I mean, can you answer him?
That is no. I don't have to answer him because it's total rubbish. It's never true that he's went to UK for any treatment.
Okay, thank you. So Jones, you heard that? Yeah. Thank you, producer. He said, as a vice president, he is like a driver's mate.
Yes.
But if, by the grace of God, you make me president, I will be in the driver's seat with constitutionally mandated authority to pursue my vision and my priorities.
Yes.
So what do I want to do in terms of vision? Priorities and policies, if you give me the opportunity, by the grace of God, to become president of the Republic. I mean, we spoke about this, and I don't want to go on it, but he's a driver's mate.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, what is he making Nanado feel? I mean, you work with him as a team.
Mm-hmm.
They are one team with all the ministers.
Yes.
And if the government come out with any policy, he's part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Is he saying that he doesn't hold enough to be able to participate in that discussion? And if things go wrong, which we will come to that, if things go wrong, then he's not part of it.
He never said that anywhere. He is spelling out exactly what the constitution of this country dictates, and he is even bold in his mission to tell us that he is willing for us to have a constitutional review that gives enormous power to the presidency, so that he will give some of these powers out to other departments. Because as the current constitution that we hold in Ghana gives all the power to the president, the vice president is only there to support. Okay, so everything, the buck starts with the driver. In any case, the analogy that he is the mate, is it not true that he is there as a mate to support the president? And if you are a driver and you are trotro mate, you are driving towards the Tetekwashi roundabout, and you see passengers standing on the right side. If the mate tells you, driver, stop, but the driver has also seen other passengers far ahead, and he decides he wants to take those passengers ahead, but not the immediate passengers, can the mate press on the brake for the car to stop? The mate cannot. But the mate had already advised the driver that there are passengers on the right side, immediate right. So I think it would be nice for you to stop. However, because the president or the driver has also seen other passengers who he prefers to take them, he decided that I will press on the accelerator and go and take them. How is this antagonizing the president?
Was he in agreement with e-levy or not? Because what Dr. Bawumia is saying, he reported in his speech that he will abolish e-levy if Ghanaians vote for him as a president. Now, the question is this. Producer, can you show us this video of Nanado, please?
Okay.
Yes, it must be. I think he's wearing a navy. Hold on, let me see. If it's not that one, then you take it. Hold on, please, 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. So I just wanted to continue to you.
Yes.
So you see, the mate driver analogy is perfect. John Dramani Mahama told us in 2012 that he was a spare driver. Did he not say that?
Yeah, is that one?
He was a spare driver.
I don't see what we gain
at the time. Okay.
By attacking the record of our own government. When you do that, then you become then party candidate.
Please, can you start again for?
Oh, it was
so that Jesus, I hear it.
I will deal with this easy question.
Even though I am MPP, I'm still under the Oslo sign. I'm different. And the people of Ghana will be that gullible. No, let's be serious. So the question is, I think that if we're talking about the record of the government, my understanding is that every MPP person, communicator, or whoever you are, who you're a supporter of, I don't see what we gain by attacking the record of our own government. When you do that and you become then party candidate, what are you going to tell the people of Ghana? Oh, it was a Kufuor who misled you and mismanaged affairs. I will be different. Even though I am MPP, I'm still under the Oslo's sign. I'm different. And the people of Ghana will be that gullible. No. Let's be serious.
This is a strong statement from Nanado.
Yes.
And what do you say about that? Now, you have agreed e-levy as part of a team. Now you're saying, if Ghanaians vote for you, is it out of fear? What is making to change that big policy like that for the country?
So first and foremost, let me address this propagandist of a video. This video was not released yesterday, was not released 2 days ago, was not released after His Excellency Vice President spoke. This video was in August 2023, after when we were going to the superdelegates, where some candidates within the party were accusing governance and same members of our party that we have mismanaged the economy. That is what he was addressing.
But does this apply to e-levy situation?
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia spent close to 25 minutes of his address telling Ghanaians of the achievements of MPP under the able leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So the propaganda trying to create a discord between Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and Nana Addo will never work. Nana Addo is extra smart for that. Nana Addo told Ghanaians that when things became very tough in 2022, when we had been stricken by COVID and the pandemic, and the dollar was at a high speed, and everybody was pointing at president. He told Ghanaians that at his lowest of lows, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia remained his inspiration. So he can attest to the support and the candid advice that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia gave him. And let me reiterate that this video that you just played was August 2023 during the Supergate.
But does it apply to this situation?
It does not, because Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia have not stood anywhere to say that we have mismanaged this economy. In fact, he is of more praise to Dr. Nana Addo. But where we have challenges, he has accepted that the challenges were not due to incompetence or mismanaged. It's external factors that affect every country in the world. So with e-levy in UK, to make things very easy for you, in UK we decided to have a referendum whether we are going to stay in EU or we are going to leave EU. When we voted, over 17 million people wanted to stay in EU, right? About 18 million people voted to stay out. But when we go out, everybody said that Great Britain, Great Britain or United Kingdom, we are out of EU. Is it not a collective effort? Irrespective that me, Richard Gyamfi, I know I voted to remain. But the majority decision carries the day. That is the whole essence of having democracy. And now, when you go to the cabinet, and we are discussing about a matter, the cabinet will have their say. The vice president and his economic management team will have a say. But the box stop with the president. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has made it clear. In fact, there's a video evidence of him at Peace FM saying that he do not believe that we should tax electronic transactions. However, as a good leader as he is, when he went to cabinet, he didn't win the argument. Cabinet won the argument, and president decided that this is the path that we are going to go. He shouldn't come out to point fingers at them. If you do that, you've lost the collective responsibility that I discussed about, and that is not how we run government. Another example is that the finance minister in Ghana, Ken Ofori-Atta, he has clearly shown, and it's on record, that he did not believe the format of the free SHS, how we are going to fund it. But irrespective of him being the Minister of Finance who control, he is the spending officer in this country. The president gave a direct order that this is how I want the free SHS to go. And so people are not questioning him, because That is the mandatory responsibility of the president. The constitution gives him that power. So Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia,
head of economic management team,
and I've explained it and explained it. I'm telling you that it's an advisory committee. Look, when you were going to get married, we had a group of advisory body that advised you during your courtship that if you do this, it is likely that your marriage will collapse. Didn't they? People heard and bought into it. Check out the number of
those whose marriage have collapsed will come and give advice.
Exactly. So it tells you when you are an advisory body, people are not obligated to take your decision. And that is why he said that he is proud of some of the achievements that he's been able to give and the candid advice that he gave to cabinet and the president. But it is not wrong for the president not to take the vice president advice. It is not wrong. It is not illegal. The vision of the president is somehow different from the vision of the vice president. I make an analogy that MPP as a party, we have a common philosophy. But for every leader, the person has his own way and means to achieve that philosophy. And that is how come when President Kufuor came, through the ticket of MPP, we had the capitation grant, we had the NHIS. When President Kufuor came, the same philosophy, he is championing one district, one factory, three SHS. President Amen, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, he also is building on the same philosophy, but he's telling us he's going to carve his own niche and his own way to achieve that MPP philosophy. So why are we not accepting that fact?
Okay. He's also, Dr. Bawumia also said that, also unveiled his government intention to revamp the tax system. Yeah, revamp the tax system, including elimination of emission tax. And then we would end here because your time and everything here.
So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was quite specific. He is saying that when he's been given the mandate to lead this country, he believes that the policies that he's carrying with, the things that he will be putting in place, will make sure that these additional taxes will not be needed.
Yes.
And that is why he will cancel them off. Okay? And he is saying that not because he does not support the taxes that are being placed on us now. He is saying that per the conditions in which his policies are going to work, it will render these obnoxious, in quotes, taxes irrelevant. So there will be no need for them. Again, this is the only government that came into office and promised that we will cut out some nuisance taxes. And it is on record that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and President Kufuor in 2017 crossed and cancelled off 21 nuisance taxes in this country.
Okay. Well, I know because of time, your last word, but before that, the infighting within the party, how are they dealing with it? For example, Alan Shamate is gone, and now Kennedy, and they have also spoken, and they have a number of words. This is the last one, so I know your time is limited.
Yes.
So your last one, producer, last one.
This one, give me time.
Yes, okay.
I want to refute that there are infighting within our party.
Okay.
The only misunderstanding that we had led to one of our stalwarts leaving the party, and that is Honorable Kwadwo Alan Chamate.
Yeah.
Now he's left the party. I don't think I have to come here as an MPP man to discuss somebody who's decided to leave. With Kennedy Ohene Japan, he stood on campaign rally and told Ghanaians that the elections that we ran on November 4 was free and fair, and that he has conceded defeat to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and went further to declare all his support that he's going to support Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Till date, I haven't seen that he's acting otherwise. I haven't seen that he's doing anything to inhibit the progress of the party. In fact, on 7 February, we saw all the leaders apart from him. It could be that he was caught up in other equally important, or maybe, he was caught up somewhere. But as I sit here, between you and I, there is no problem between...
All the leaders, with the exception of...
Were there. Were there to support.
With the exception of Kennedy.
And there's
was Nanado there?
No, Nanado was outside the country.
Okay.
His wife, the first lady, was there to support the occasion.
But were they aware of this speech before they travel?
I mean, there's nothing wrong about this speech. This speech has given Ghanaians hope. This speech has changed the narrative in Ghana. This chief outlines 70 different policies that's going to propel Ghana from where we are to a high pedestal, where we are going to have good education, good healthcare, good and opportunities and avenues for small businesses to thrive, good opportunities for young people to be in work, as we are going to train 1 million young people in IT. He's also giving the roadmap for young people to thrive in sports. He's giving the roadmap for young people to thrive in creative arts. He's giving the roadmap to eradicate the stigma that comes attached with people living with disabilities. He's leading the way for digitalization, which is going to shut off unexplained corruption in the country through digitalization. So the last thing that I want to leave with you is the tax system that he's coming with. He is making sure that we move away from the colloquial way of taxing, where we tax the same people who are fighting hard to the private sector, who is supporting the young people. He said we are going to move from that colloquial way of taxing people to a new digital system where each and every person will have a flat rate of tax to pay, depending on your income, so that each and everyone will contribute to the quota for the development of this country. And I think he's the best and the right man to lead this country.
Thank you. December 2024
yes,
is the question and answer.
So
Ghanaians,
yes,
Ghanaians will have their say.
Yes.
That is all I can say.
Yes, and I want to tell you that on December 7, 2024, Ghanaians have an easy decision to make. We are going to make the decision between John Mahama and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We are making decision between the past and the future. We are making decision between the darkness and the light. We are making decision between someone who has served stellar performance as vice president, and someone who has been tested as vice president, who has been tried as president and got totally rejected on 2 occasions by Ghanaians in the person of John Dramani Mahama. We know the right person to lead this country, of all the things that I've said to you, is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. It is possible, inshallah.
Before I go, you said something. Dabi, just end it. Is Bawumia a Christian or a Muslim? Because someone has put it. They are confused. Is he a Christian or Muslim? I know your time is limited.
No, it's fine.
Dr.
Bawumia is a practicing Muslim.
A
practicing Muslim.
Okay.
But he understands that for us to coexist, I do not have to manipulate or coerce or force my religion on you. It is called religious tolerance. And he is the epitome of religious tolerance.
Not for both.
That is demeanor.
No,
that is
not
demeanor.
for both.
You see, it is from his background. Let me tell you, Dr. Mahamudu's father had 17 children. Out of the 17 children, 9 of them are Christians.
How many wives?
9 of them are Christians.
No, how many wives?
Is it material to
we want to know how many wives?
Is it material to know?
Even Dr. Bawumia said how many wives? No, 17.
Is it material?
You need to know.
Is it material to the
Then maybe we have to end.
No, we don't have to. Let me make.
But how many wives? If you don't tell me, I'm not going anywhere. How many wives? 17.
I'm saying that is immaterial. Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia.
How many wives does Bawumia have?
Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia.
You didn't say, oh, let's catch them. And man, the person over there. What's in your over there? And man, what's in your over there? What the person over there? The
patrol, mommy, answer my question.
Okay,
Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia.
You didn't say,
no man, ya wu fi, ne papa ma, 17. All right.
How many
17, no. That is immaterial. 17, no. Emu 9, Christians. Ena emu ina aka no Rebecca saying 8 Muslims. They've all grew up in the same family. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Osano no ye Christian, no ko Methodist, no ye Boys Brigade. Onyini ena wasesa ababeye Muslim. And that is why he is the first Muslim in Ghana, practicing Muslim. The chief patron for Methodist Boys Brigade in Ghana. So, ne life no, ne upbringing in our church, imams be uncountry. Ne dimi na ne hawa ye titi ne in our church. On who say we are Muslim. And can me which Gyamfi am ye Bantama Pentecost ni mean to me Dr. Muhammad Bawumia.
Thank you, Jesus. We and you who Bawumia ni papa you no do any onuamu nti we dey twaso.
Particular minimum history power Kumasi high.
Yes.
Nti mama nkan with TV so.
Okay.
E kan mama nkan wa.
Yeah, so okay, yo, but that's it. Nti youth Jesus, yeah, that was it. Yeah, the honorable associate, why? Honorable Richard Gyamfi. Youth Jesus, we thank you very much for why you done well.
Thank you.
And for your damunina say, and you will home next week. Why? And so have a good night.
Thank you.
And
thank
good
you
night
for having me.
Yeah.
Dr.
Thank you.
Bawumia,
Why are you? Why are you? Sorry.
And then they want to see you.
I am also a duty solicitor. Anytime a person is arrested and taken to a police station, or if the police invite you to the police station for a voluntary interview, you have a right to free independent legal advice. Adoko Solicitors is authorized to provide free independent legal advice at police stations in England and Wales. So anytime you're taken to the police station, remember to say that your solicitors are Adoko's solicitors.
Are you in the UK and in need of immigration help? Do you require expert legal representation to regularize your stay or renew your existing leave to remain? Do you require advice or representation regarding a personal injury or criminal matter? If the answer is yes, then you do not need to look any further. Aduku Solicitors is here to provide you with all the expert legal advice and representation you require.
Be it immigration, criminal law, appeal against conviction or appeal against sentence, family law, personal injury, civil litigation, employment law or housing law. Aduku Solicitors is your trusted one-stop legal services provider with expert solicitors and caseworkers on standby to assist. Our police station emergency number is 07792 459 339. You can also call Aduku Solicitors on 0207 183 1479. You can locate Aduku Solicitors at 662 Old Kent Road, London, SE15 1JF.
My name is Kofi Adoko. I'm a principal solicitor at Adoko Solicitors. I am also a duty solicitor. Anytime a person is arrested and taken to a police station, or if the police invite you to the police station for a voluntary interview, you have a right to free independent legal advice. Adoko Solicitors is authorized to provide free independent legal advice at police stations in England and Wales. So anytime you're taken to the police station, remember to say that your solicitors are Adoko's solicitors.
Are you in the UK and in need of immigration help? Do you require expert legal representation to regularise your stay or renew your existing leave to remain? Do you require advice or representation regarding a personal injury or criminal matter? If the answer is yes, then you do not need to look any further. Aduku's Solicitors is here to provide you with all the expert legal advice and representation you require.
Be it immigration, criminal law, appeal against conviction or appeal against sentence, family law, personal injury, civil litigation, employment law or housing law. Aduku Solicitors is your trusted one-stop legal services provider with expert solicitors and caseworkers on standby to assist. Our police station emergency number is 07792 459 339. You can also call Aduku Solicitors on 0207 183 1479. You can locate Aduku Solicitors at 662 Old Kent Road, London, SE15 1JF.